I have secretly loved the mute youngest uncle of the Xiao family for 10 full years. When his nephew wanted to break our engagement because of Bella, the girl he had always pined for, I agreed without a second thought. Turning around, I chose his uncle to be my fiancé instead. Cedric Xiao rushed back from abroad, frantically using sign language to tell me I should choose someone better and advising me to cancel the wedding. I said nothing. I simply pinned him against the wall and kissed him. You were always hiding from me, weren't you? Why aren't you hiding now? As the man tried to dodge, I took the chance to lightly bite his chin. Cedric's pupils contracted, and his face flushed crimson all the way to his ears. He was shy, but I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. The situation was that outside the Xiao villa, Lucas Xiao had been kneeling in the rain for 3 hours, begging to break off the engagement. Lucas's parents had gone from fury to softening their hearts. Finally, they sat down with us to negotiate. Knowing the time was ripe, I slowly spoke up. Everyone already knows our two families are about to unite. If we suddenly cancel it, wouldn't that let others laugh in our faces? Mrs. Xiao had clearly considered this, and her expression was troubled. So what should we do now? If Lucas refuses, then we switch to someone else. But in this generation, there is only Lucas. However, doesn't the Xiao family still have one person who isn't married yet? I asked, pretending to be casual. Mr. Xiao suddenly looked up. Do you mean Cedric? Cedric was the youngest son born to Master Xiao in his old age. Although he is Lucas's uncle, he is only 1 year older than us. Recently, he has been on tour abroad, being hailed by the media as a piano prodigy seen only once in a century. But very few media outlets know that Cedric cannot speak. If they did, given Master's conservative and domineering nature, how could he ever agree to let his son become an artist? Hearing the name I had been waiting for, I tried hard to suppress the corners of my lips from curling up. If Uncle Xiao says so, then I will reluctantly agree. We cannot let both our families lose face. As I spoke, I took out my phone and called Secretary Chen, instructing him to quickly release the news. The marriage alliance between our families would be between me and Cedric. A series of actions unfolded rapidly, leaving the parents on both sides stunned and unable to get a word in. Lucas's parents wanted to say something, but I stood up to bid farewell, pushing my own parents to leave quickly and giving them no chance to speak. Reaching the gate, I flashed an OK sign at Lucas, who was still kneeling on the ground. After all, the tricks he was using were all taught by me. After finding out Lucas had someone he loved, I passed on all the tantrums and crying scenes I had learned in the past to him. In this generation of the Xiao family, he is temporarily the only heir, so I could not just watch him dig his own grave. Hearing this, Lucas's eyes lit up. He patted my shoulder and said, Tessa Jiang, you are amazing. I did not know you had so many tricks up your sleeve. I disgustedly swatted his hand away and brushed off the spot he had touched. Remember, from now on, do not call me Tessa anymore. Then what should I call you? Call me Aunt Tessa. As soon as the words left my mouth, Lucas froze on the spot. In a coffee shop, my best friend Grace Lynn almost spat out her mouthful of coffee when she heard I was about to marry Cedric. You have got to be kidding me, princess. He has been hiding abroad for 2 years, and you still haven't let him go. If Grace hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten. It turns out Cedric has been hiding from me for 2 years. That day, as soon as I graduated from high school, I immediately ran to confess my feelings to Cedric. The man who had always obeyed me unconditionally rejected me for the first time. From then on, he began to avoid me. Any party that had my presence, he would refuse to attend. Eventually, I really could not take it anymore. One day during my final year of university, I downed a whole bottle of wine and ran to his house to force a kiss on him. At that moment, I had only one thought in my head. Cedric's first kiss had to be mine. It was clear that Cedric was lost in the moment at first. Just as I was preparing to take the next step, Cedric suddenly snapped out of it and threw me out. Not more than a few days later, I heard the news that he had gone abroad without even a single word of goodbye. Do your parents know you intend to marry Cedric without getting angry? Grace's words pulled me back to reality. I pointed to my forehead. Why wouldn't they be? Look right here. Grace immediately leaned in with concern, looking left and right. You aren't injured. Who said I was injured? I mean that last night, this spot was almost smashed by an ashtray. Grace rolled her eyes and slapped my forehead. I let out a miserable yelp. I am not lying to you, Grace. Last night, as soon as I got home, Dad's ashtray came flying towards me. But it didn't hit, probably because he intentionally threw it off course. Deep down, they probably still cannot accept Cedric. They think that a man who cannot speak has absolutely no way to properly protect me. But I have long since ceased to be someone who needs others to protect her. My marriage must be decided by me alone. Ding, the phone notification chimed. The screen displayed a WeChat name I hadn't seen in a long time. Cedric. I raised an eyebrow. Has this man finally decided to take me off his block list? In the past, Cedric left the country without saying a word. I was so furious that I couldn't stand it. So I went to a club with Grace, ordered over a dozen male models, made them take off all their shirts, and filmed a video to send to Cedric. I told him, what you don't want to do, plenty of other men are willing to do. That whole night, Cedric did not reply to me. The next day, I couldn't hold back and messaged him, only to discover I had been blocked. I was so angry that I used Grace's WeChat to message him, saying if you are so tough, then don't look for me for the rest of your life. If I actively look for you again, I am a dog. The result after sending that message was that Grace got blocked too. Because of that vow, I held back for 2 whole years. Luckily, this time he was the one to reach out to me, so I don't have to turn into a dog. Cedric only sent 3 words. Are you okay? I guessed he only knew about my engagement being broken off. And didn't yet know I had switched my marriage partner to him. Otherwise he wouldn't be this calm. Still pretending to be cold and arrogant with me, I pretended to press the wrong button, recording Grace saying, "Tessie, stop crying." Then I sent that audio clip over. Not long after, Cedric's messages came flooding in. Are you crying? Tessa, please don't cry, you are wonderful. If others don't like you, it is not your fault, you are truly wonderful. Are you still crying? Can you answer me? Sure enough, as soon as I cry, Cedric is helpless. Watching the messages pop up one after another on my phone, my heart grew warmer. It was as if I was seeing the little boy from years ago, desperately trying to comfort me. Back then, my parents had to go abroad to expand the market and only took my brother, leaving me behind for my grandmother to care for. I hid in the flower garden and cried for a long time until Cedric ran over to comfort me. His hands were tiny, but he kept signing ceaselessly, sweating from anxiety, his hands moving so fast they almost sparked fire. I was amused into laughter and stopped crying. During that lonely time it was Cedric who stayed by my side. So for all the days to come, I want to be by his side too. I thought Cedric would stop messaging, but his chat box showed the opponent is typing for a very long time, finally sending a message. I know you like Lucas very much. When I come back, I will teach him a lesson for you and make him apologize to you. My face was full of question marks. Who told you I like Lucas? This was clearly blatant slander. However, in the end I still didn't reply to Cedric, who told him to block me in the past. I had to let him taste the feeling of being ignored by someone else. A future husband should be trained before the wedding. The next time I saw Cedric was when the first snow fell in Beijing. I got off work and headed home. Just as I stepped out of the company, I saw a familiar license plate. A man stepped out of the car. With a height of 1.88 m, he stood out immediately. Today he was wearing a black wool coat over a matching turtleneck sweater, looking both elegant and ascetic. 2 years no see, and he has gotten even more handsome. Seeing me, Cedric walked over quickly, judging by his urgent demeanor. He must have heard the news that we were getting married. But at this moment, I wasn't thinking about anything. As he came in front of me, I threw myself straight into his arms. Smelling that familiar woody scent again, I couldn't help my eyes turning red as I took deep breaths. The man's body stiffened slightly. I hugged him even tighter, pressing my head against his chest. It is so cold. I didn't know it would snow today, so I didn't wear enough clothes. Almost instantly, Cedric wrapped his arms around me, his hands rubbing my arms as if he were truly trying to warm me up. At this moment I just resented that he was such a block of wood. After cuddling for a while, my hand slowly slipped under the hem of his shirt, touching his abdominal muscles. Not bad. It is an 8-pack, even firmer than before he went abroad. Looks like he exercised quite a bit overseas. Feeling Cedric's body tremble, I looked up to meet his questioning gaze, putting on an innocent face. It is warmer this way. Still not satisfied, my hand slowly moved upwards, wanting to touch his pectoral muscles too, but my hand was immediately grabbed by Cedric from outside his shirt. My logic wasn't straight, but my confidence was high. What is it? You are my fiancé now, am I not allowed to inspect the goods beforehand? Cedric's ears instantly turned crimson. He was both shy and angry as he dragged me to a deserted corner, his hands signing furiously again. Tessa, you cannot marry me. You deserve someone better. I am just a mute. I am not worthy of you. I don't want you to be looked down upon by others because of me. I had seen these words many times, and hearing them again now, I just tuned them out. My gaze unconsciously shifted to the man's tightly pursed lips. Because of his urgency, his lips were pressed until they were slightly pale, thin as 2 wafers, making one unable to resist wanting to take a bite. Thinking it, I did it. I directly pulled his collar down and kissed him. Cedric's pupils contracted and he froze on the spot. But he did not push me away. I curled my lips in satisfaction. I have liked Cedric for 10 years, and most of that time I spent waiting for his reaction. But the current me is no longer that 18-year-old girl. I understand that if I don't advance, he will retreat. He has his own apprehensions, so let me be the brave one. Weren't you always hiding from me? Why aren't you hiding now? Cedric's face burned red, and he turned his face away to avoid looking at me, just like a little wife being bullied. I couldn't help wanting to kiss him more. Cedric tilted his head back to dodge. I took the opportunity to bite his chin. The man's breath hitched, looking at me in disbelief. He was shy. But I was thrilled. My first meeting with Cedric after 2 years ended with him running for his life. In the days that followed, he started hiding from me again. Not replying to messages, not answering calls. But this time I was not in a hurry to find him, because he had a domestic performance tour and wouldn't be leaving anytime soon. The sponsor behind it was me. In a bar, I called Grace out for a drink. Tell me, how on earth can I conquer Cedric? Grace is a famous love expert in our circle, changing boyfriends like changing clothes, so I could only go to her for advice. After hearing my story, Grace shook her head helplessly. Given the current situation, you have no way to conquer him, you can only sleep conquer him. Sleep conquer. My face was full of confusion. Grace leaned close to my ear to explain. It turned out she was telling me to pretend to be drugged at the bar, then have Cedric come save me, and finally let the rice be cooked into rice. Hearing this plan, I hesitated a little. Grace slapped my back hard. Us women must take action when we face a problem, don't be whiny. Feeling encouraged by Grace, I took a sip of wine and nodded vigorously. Fine, let's do it. I will use this method. If it still doesn't work this time, I will never like Cedric again. Grace heard that and gave me a disdainful look. Save it, you just say that to me. If Cedric glances at you once, I bet your panties will fly off to who knows where. My face flushed crimson. They say the truth hurts, but Grace's words were just too blunt. When Cedric arrived, I was pretending to be uncomfortable lying on the sofa. Grace told him a few sentences about me being drugged, then made an excuse about having family business, ignored Cedric's attempts to stop her, and ran off. Amidst the noise, a large, powerful hand firmly pulled me into a man's embrace. Immediately after, a long coat was draped over me. Almost in the next second, I reached out to wrap my arms around Cedric's neck. Feigning delirium, I called his name, my hand starting to cause trouble, only to be hurriedly restrained by Cedric. Beside us, the mocking laughter of several men rang out. Hey buddy. This girl doesn't look too well. If you have business, you go ahead, we will help you take care of her. That's right, the girl looks very uncomfortable. Us brothers guarantee we will take good care of her. The words were not even finished before a miserable scream was heard from the other side. Cedric had gotten into a fight with them. I was a bit worried, wondering if Cedric could take them on. Just as I was about to peek, my body suddenly flew into the air. Cedric picked me up. The others had already been beaten to the ground. As expected of someone who trained in sanda and freestyle wrestling since childhood, his moves were truly fast. My hands were still restless. Before, when I was sober, Cedric could use force to stop me, but now that I was delirious, he was conversely tied hand and foot, only able to let me do whatever I wanted. A few times after that, his steps even staggered, almost losing his balance as he walked towards the door even faster. Tessa. I consider myself to have tasted the good stuff. The very next second we got into the car, Cedric lowered the rear seat partition, blocking the driver's view. I pressed directly against him, able to feel that Cedric wasn't having an easy time either. At this moment, he was trying to suppress his ragged breathing, his cheekbones slightly red, his chest heaving up and down. My hot breath blew onto his neck and ear. Cedric, I am so hot, help me. Without waiting for Cedric to react, I kissed him directly on the lips, prying open his teeth, not allowing him to dodge in the slightest. Just as I was running out of breath and wanted to let go, the back of my neck was suddenly seized by a large hand. Cedric suddenly kissed back, more intense, deeper than my kiss just now. Like a wild beast breaking its chains, discarding all reason and restraint, he frantically bit and tore at me. This was the first time I had seen a Cedric like this. His whole body was overflowing with aggression, hard, domineering, and hot, making me momentarily forget whether I was the one drugged or if he was. By the time I reacted, Cedric's hand had slipped under my shirt, gently kneading my waist, making my breathing chaotic. I thought I was about to succeed. Suddenly, the driver's tentative voice rang in my ears. "Sir, we have arrived." Cedric seemed to sober up instantly, forcefully pushing me away. My hand hit the door frame, almost making me cry out in pain, and in my heart I had already cursed that driver 1,000 times. "Can you have a little awareness? At a time like this, couldn't you just park the car yourself and obediently leave?" Cedric stood aside to calm himself, straightening his clothes. He was wearing a shirt today, and I didn't know when I had pulled it open. A moment later, he even helped me tidy my clothes a bit before carrying me out of the car. Throughout the process, I didn't dare open my eyes, afraid that if I faced Cedric, he would discover I was faking. This time Cedric walked very fast. After stealing a glance and seeing him open the door to the master bedroom, I slowly curled my lips into a smile. Very quickly, I felt myself being placed into a cold container. The next second, icy water immediately poured down. I snapped my eyes open only to discover I had been placed in the bathtub by Cedric, and he was holding the shower head spraying water on my head. "Cedric, are you crazy?" Seeing me wake up, Cedric breathed a sigh of relief. He signed, saying, "I have called a doctor. Just bear it a little longer, he will be here soon." "A doctor? No way, we cannot call a doctor." I grabbed Cedric's hand tightly. If people found out I was faking, I would rather die. Looking up to meet Cedric's confused gaze, I gritted my teeth. Why is this different from the novels I usually read? What domineering CEO encounters this situation and goes to call a doctor? Shouldn't they all shout about saving the heroine and then do this and that? At this moment, I only hated that Cedric was such a gentleman, so I finally had to confess to him that I was pretending. Hearing this, Cedric's face instantly turned cold. I lowered my head, not daring to look at him. Cedric ignored me and walked straight into the study. I hurriedly chased after him but was locked out. I was a bit scared, but didn't dare knock directly, so I could only wait outside. Don't look at how I usually act arrogant and reckless. If Cedric really gets angry, I stop immediately. His level of scariness is comparable to my brother's. Waiting outside for a long time, I didn't see Cedric come out. I pressed my head against the door frame, wanting to hear what he was doing inside, but I heard nothing. Finally, I could not hold back and knocked on the door. "Cedric, are you okay? Are you still angry?" There was still no answer from inside. Just as I was worrying about whether something had happened to him in there, the villa's butler, Uncle Zhao, arrived. "Miss Zhang, the young master just messaged me and asked me to take you to the guest room." I looked anxiously at the study. Uncle smiled. "Don't worry, miss. The young master is fine." I had no choice but to nod and follow Uncle to the guest room. Cedric even instructed the maid to bring a change of clothes for me. After showering, I lay in bed tossing and turning, unable to sleep, constantly thinking about how to make Cedric stop being angry tomorrow. Suddenly, I sat up straight in bed. Cedric wouldn't be like he was 2 years ago. Leaving the country again without a word, would he? The more I thought about it, the more scared I got. I couldn't wait until tomorrow. I tiptoed to Cedric's room and turned the door handle. Luckily, Cedric hadn't locked the door, but when I went in, I didn't see him anywhere. Just as I was about to go out and look for him, I turned around and saw Cedric stepping out of the bathroom. The man was shirtless, his hair still dripping wet. Water droplets flowed down his neck, spreading across his chest, and finally disappearing into his abdominal muscles. The scene was inexplicably overflowing with sexual appeal, making me unable to resist swallowing. Cedric, however, was very calm. He quickly put on a bathrobe, ignoring my disappointed look, and coldly signed. "Tessa, how long do you intend to toy with me?" I hurriedly explained. "I am not toying with you, Cedric. I told you a long time ago that I like you." Cedric smiled self-deprecatingly. "What do you like about me? Do you like that I cannot speak, or do you like my moody and unpredictable personality?" Hearing Cedric belittle himself like that, my tears immediately fell. "I never knew you were so insecure about yourself." Seeing my tears, a look of panic flashed across Cedric's eyes. His hand instinctively raised, but just as it was about to touch my face, he lowered it again. "Tessa, you only feel pity for me, not love, just like my parents. When I was little they also used to pity me. But as more and more people mocked me, they also started to feel that I was an embarrassment to them, and joined others in despising and belittling me. I don't want you to become like them years later. I wouldn't be able to bear that. It is better to let each other go now. At least the current you doesn't hate me yet. When you truly find your happiness, I will sincerely give you my blessings." I couldn't bear to watch Cedric continue signing. I directly hugged him tight. "What blessings? I don't need your blessings. My happiness is you. Cedric, I am not a child. I am 24 years old. I know what I want you, only you." Cedric pushed me away, But these are realities we cannot escape. When others mock you, I cannot even speak up to defend you, nor can I be like normal couples and personally tell you that I like you. Cedric signed these things very calmly, even with a smile on the corners of his mouth, but I felt it looked even more painful than crying. At this moment, I just wanted to be unreasonable. Who told you a mouth is only used for speaking? You have lips, you have a tongue, you can kiss, you can do many things. Just now in the car, you almost kissed me until I couldn't stand steady. Have you forgotten everything? Perhaps thinking of the situation in the car earlier, Cedric's face turned red. I pressed my advantage. If you say you cannot personally say you like me, then from now on, whenever you want to say you like me, just kiss me. Like me a little, kiss a little, like me a lot, kiss deeply. Everyone has their own way of expressing love. We can find a method that belongs to us, isn't that enough? Cedric seemed to know he couldn't out-talk me, so he helplessly gave up and gently pushed my head. What on earth have you learned in the past 2 years? I blinked. I learned a lot, you will find out slowly later. Actually, it was because last time I stole Cedric's first kiss, and was quickly kicked out, and he even fled the country in a hurry, which made me suspect there was a problem with my technique. So I went to ask Grace how to improve my skills. Unexpectedly, she immediately sent me tens of gigabytes of reference material. The current me, although lacking in practical experience, possesses a wealth of theoretical knowledge, feeling terrifyingly powerful. That night, I fell asleep in Cedric's arms. I told him I couldn't sleep in a strange bed without him. Cedric had no choice but to hold me while I slept. Later, I woke up and didn't see him, though the spot beside me was still warm. I went out to look for him and found the light in his study was on. I went back to sleep, thinking Cedric wouldn't come back. Unexpectedly, a while later, he returned and quietly hugged me from behind. I happily turned around and snuggled into his embrace. Actually, you really wanted to hold me while you slept too, didn't you? You pretend to be cold. Cedric's body stiffened, but he didn't answer me, he just pressed my head down when I tried to look up at his expression. In the following days, I stayed at Cedric's villa. This was the house he bought before going abroad. I had been here before, so it felt familiar. Gradually, I discovered that Cedric's living habits were terrible. During the day he went on tour, and at night he either locked himself in the study or hid in the soundproof room to practice piano all night, barely leaving any time for sleep. He wouldn't listen to anyone's advice. If I couldn't change it, then I would join him. I also followed Cedric's routine. If he didn't eat, I didn't eat. If he didn't sleep, I didn't sleep. The moment Cedric tried to be stern with me, I would cry. The final result was usually that I rendered him helpless, and he had to do as I said. But I discovered that Cedric always secretly curled his lips in a smile when I wasn't looking. I think deep down, he has always longed for someone to manage him like this. Today I rarely woke up early. Uncle told me Cedric went out for a run. My gaze stopped on the unlocked study. I had been everywhere in the villa these past few days, only this study was off limits. Every time he went out, he locked it, and even Uncle didn't have a spare key. He guarded against me like a thief, but now wasn't I walking in openly and honestly? Looking around, there was nothing special. I walked to Cedric's desk. Suddenly, I saw a drawer that wasn't fully closed. Opening it, I found it was full of photos of me. Most of them were candid shots taken during the 2 years we were apart. There were photos from my university graduation yearbook, and photos from my first day at the company. They covered almost all my changes over the past 2 years. Inside, there were also many photos of me and Lucas attending business parties together. But Lucas had been completely cut out by someone. Suddenly there was a noise outside the door. I looked up to see Cedric standing there. He had just returned from running and was still panting slightly, looking at me with eyes full of embarrassment and panic. I directly took out a photo where Lucas's head had been cut off and walked up to Cedric. "Is this the blessing you were talking about?" My expression was full of delight at discovering someone's weakness. Cedric pursed his lips, lowered his head, and didn't dare to look me in the eye, but he couldn't say anything. I took out 2 other photos and moved closer. "These 2 are crumpled, why are you keeping them?" Hearing this, Cedric's neck instantly turned red, the color slowly spreading to his cheeks. My smile deepened. "They are crumpled like this, they are useless, throw them away." As soon as I finished speaking, the photos in my hand were snatched away by Cedric. He smoothed out each crumpled photo and carefully placed them back in their original position. I laughed. "Why treat them like treasures? If you want photos, I can take as many as you want, any style." I said those last few words with particular seriousness. Cedric's sorting motion paused, and not knowing what he was thinking, His ears turned bright red, and he directly chased me out. The door slammed shut with a thunderous noise. I hurriedly reminded him from outside the door. Cedric, it is not good for you to be like this often. If photos don't work, I am very willing to help. The sound of a glass shattering came from the study. I can only say this young man is still too hot-tempered. In the days that followed, I rarely saw Cedric. It wasn't that he was intentionally avoiding me, but his domestic tour had officially begun. He was busy up to his eyes. Every time I fell asleep on the sofa waiting for him, I would find myself waking up in bed the next day. Although he was busy, Uncle told me that Cedric smiled more these days. Before, whenever he was busy, he would sleep at the studio. But now, no matter how late it was, he would come home. I knew this was a good beginning. Cedric was no longer resisting me. However, today he came home rarely early, but directly locked himself in the piano room and didn't come out. Even when I knocked, there was no reaction. I didn't know what had happened to him, but decided to let him calm down first. But not long after, I saw my brother's Rolls-Royce parked in front of the villa. Victor Jiang, dressed in a straight black suit, leaned against the car smoking. Seeing me, he didn't scold me at all, just raised an eyebrow and said, "You have been out long enough, it is time to go home." I didn't need to think to know that Cedric had called my brother, because he knew very well that at home I fear no one. But I fear my brother the most. Sitting in the car on the way home, I still couldn't help looking back. My brother gave a soft laugh. "Do you like that kid that much?" I nodded. "Victor, do you know what happened to Cedric?" My brother was silent for a moment before slowly speaking. "Today he went back to the old Xiao family house." One sentence, and everything was clear. Cedric's parents hate Cedric the most, believing that a son who cannot speak only makes them lose face. Sometimes, no matter how many harsh words outsiders say, we can ignore them. But only the words of family members are impossible to ever forget. Because they know where our weakest points are. And they know exactly where to stab to cause the most pain. The Xiao family once again destroyed the confidence that Cedric had worked so hard to rebuild. Thinking of what Cedric had to endure at the Xiao family home, my nose couldn't help but sting. My brother rubbed my head. "If you like him, just pursue him. Don't worry, I will help you." I turned my head in joy. "Really? You don't oppose us like Mom and Dad do?" My brother glanced at me. "Mom and Dad don't oppose you too, they just worry Cedric cannot protect you well. But I protect my sister. You just need to do what you like, I will always be your backup." My brother rarely said such cheesy things, and I was immediately moved to death, reaching out to hug him. My brother immediately pushed my head back, looking disgusted. "I am driving, stay away from me, don't pull that stuff with me, it is nauseating." "Fine, fine." Still the same familiar brother, same familiar flavor. The warmth hadn't lasted half a minute before he revealed his true form. Getting out of the car, Victor called me back. Hesitating for a long time before speaking. "About when you were little, don't blame Mom and Dad. They didn't mean to leave you alone, they just didn't want you to suffer with us." I smiled and nodded. "I understand. Perhaps I resented it when I was small, but now that I'm grown, I can understand their worries and difficulties back then." Seeing that I had truly let it go, my brother smiled too. "Alright, in a few days I will give you a surprise. Guaranteed to make the relationship between you and that Cedric kid take a step forward." I didn't place too much hope on my brother's surprise. But what is with Cedric being drunk and tied to my bed right now? At first, I thought I was hallucinating. I left the room and went back in. Cedric was still there. It wasn't a hallucination. I hurriedly called my brother. Victor sounded like he had also had quite a bit to drink, telling me to seize the opportunity. Saying if I missed this boat there wouldn't be another dock. Hold on, does he have some misunderstanding about his own sister? Although I look improper, I don't play games like this. Hesitating for a moment, I tried calling Cedric's name a few times and found he was truly drunk, so I slowly approached. At this moment his hands were tied behind his back, his cheekbones flushed pink from alcohol, the top buttons of his shirt undone to reveal exquisite collarbones and a solid chest, making me unable to resist looking a few more times, my mouth feeling a bit dry. I hurriedly told myself inwardly, "Tessa, calm down, you must maintain your integrity, you cannot take advantage of a burning house to loot." Immediately after, I untied the rope behind Cedric. Cedric opened his eyes. Initially, he struggled, his eyes hazy, but after seeing me he regained some clarity and immediately hugged me. Pressing my head tightly against his chest, I immediately raised both hands to prove my innocence. "Cedric, this has nothing to do with me, I didn't do anything." Not receiving a response from Cedric for a long time, I tentatively spoke up. "Cedric, do you know who I am?" "I am Tessa." Not knowing if it was because he heard my name, Cedric hugged me even tighter, almost wanting to merge me into his body. He nuzzled his head against my neck and even kissed my ear, just like a male seductress, causing shivers to run through me. A long while later, I wanted to break free from his embrace, but I couldn't escape no matter what I did. Finally, I had to let him hold me while we slept through the night. The next day, I woke up in Cedric's arms. Feeling a gaze, I looked up to meet Cedric's eyes. I sobered up immediately. The first thing I did was rat out Victor, expressing that this had nothing to do with me. Nothing happened between us yesterday. Cedric listened very calmly throughout the whole process. I don't know if it was my illusion, but when he heard that nothing happened between us, a flicker of disappointment crossed Cedric's face. Immediately after, he signed that it was okay, then got up and went into the bathroom. I didn't know if he was angry and didn't dare to ask. Not long after, Cedric walked out soaking wet, only a towel wrapped around his lower half, asking me to get him a new towel. I found it a bit strange. If he wanted a towel, he could have just signaled at the bathroom door. Was it necessary to come all the way out? But I still quickly found a towel and handed it to Cedric. Worried he would think I was intentionally trying to check him out again. So I didn't dare look at him the whole time. After taking the towel, Cedric stood there for a long time. Just as I was about to ask if he didn't like the color of the towel, he slowly walked back towards the bathroom. On his broad back, I saw his ears were bright red. I felt Cedric was acting a bit off today. Could it be that drinking with my brother yesterday made him stupid? Because of Cedric's ambiguous attitude, I didn't dare to seek him out for the next few days, only occasionally snapping a few photos to share my daily life with him. And today happened to be Master's 80th birthday celebration. I attended with my parents and brother. Originally, I thought Cedric would also come. And I was worried he would be bullied if he was alone here. Later, hearing my brother say Cedric didn't receive an invitation, I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It is good he didn't get an invitation. It doesn't matter if he doesn't eat at this old man's birthday banquet. I was preparing to leave when suddenly I heard the conversation of some people at the main table. It is best that Mute didn't come. Him coming would only make me lose face. Why did our Xiao family give birth to such a jinx like him? Just seeing him alive makes me angry to death. I was already annoyed with nowhere to vent my anger. And this old man just had to throw himself onto the muzzle of my gun. I walked straight to their table. Then why aren't you dead yet? They say scourges live 1,000 years. Can an old man like you accumulate some virtue in your speech? Stop going out and harming others. As I see it, being born into the Xiao family, the unlucky one is actually Cedric. He had to inherit your bad genes. If he had been reincarnated into another family, maybe he would be able to speak and jump now, living better than anyone else. So if anyone needs to apologize, it is the Xiao family who should apologize to him. He owes you nothing, and you don't have any right to gossip about him. Master was shaking with rage at my words, pointing a trembling finger at me. What did you say? If you have the guts, say it again. I will say it. Do you think the Xiao family's good development now is solely due to your eldest son's merit? Go ask around how many foreign enterprises cooperate with you out of respect for Cedric. His fame abroad is even greater than the Xiao group. In the future, don't let me hear you say a single bad word about Cedric again, otherwise don't blame me for being impolite. After scolding him, I still didn't feel satisfied. My eyes swept around, looking at the tablecloth in front of me. I grabbed it and yanked hard. Plates, bowls, chopsticks, lobster, bird's nest on the table, everything spilled and fell, a complete mess. Now I am happy. If food can't stop your mouths, then don't eat at all. As I was leaving, the Xiao family members wanted to stop me. I ignored them. My brother and parents helped me block them. Coming out of the banquet hall, Cedric's car just happened to pull up to the entrance. He seemed to have rushed over, getting out of the car. His face still carried a look of worry, only relaxing slightly after seeing me. The anger accumulated in my heart for years was finally released, and I felt incredibly happy. I waved at Cedric and ran quickly to him. Why did you come here? Cedric grabbed my shoulders, looking me up and down carefully. He heard from others that I was arguing inside, and was worried I got hurt, so he came to check. I spun a circle directly in front of Cedric. Look carefully, I am fine. Today I even gave that old Foji in your family a thorough scolding. Before I could finish speaking, I was tightly embraced by the man. Stunned for a moment, my smile deepened, and I reached up to pat his back gently as comfort. Cedric, from now on, don't be a member of the Xiao family anymore, okay? Be Tessa's person, and I will protect you. Look, I don't need you to make any defense for me. When others scold you, I can help you scold them back. My mouth alone can take on your whole family. Cedric didn't answer, only hugging me tighter. Naturally, I wasn't in a hurry for his answer. We still have a long future ahead. Snow fell on us, but my heart felt strangely warm, not feeling cold at all. As the Lunar New Year approached, the company became incredibly busy, requiring overtime basically every day. I hadn't actively contacted Cedric for 5 days. He video called me once, knowing I was very busy, and asked if I wanted to move into the villa with him. He said his tour was over now, and he could wake up early to drive me to work every day. I refused without thinking, because there were still many company documents at home, and I was worried about losing them if I moved. After that, before we could say a few sentences, I fell asleep without realizing it. The next time I saw Cedric was at a coffee shop where I had an appointment with a client. Cedric was sitting in the most conspicuous spot. I saw him as soon as I entered and ran over in surprise. "Cedric, why are you here?" Cedric heard my voice, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Before he could say anything, I immediately explained. "I am not stalking you this time, okay? I am here to discuss cooperation." Afraid Cedric wouldn't believe me, I added another sentence. "I have been really too busy lately. I basically don't have the mind to pay attention to where you go." Hearing this, Cedric's hand holding the coffee cup froze. At this moment, my colleague called me from the private room, so I hurriedly said goodbye to Cedric. "Well, I will go in first. I will find you later when I have time." Throughout the process, Cedric didn't have time to say a single word. Afterward, I heard the waiter's startled cry from behind. "Sir, you broke the cup." But at that time, I was wholeheartedly focused on work and didn't pay attention at all. After discussing the cooperation and coming out, Cedric was nowhere to be seen. Saying goodbye to my colleague, I messaged Cedric asking when he left and what he was doing now. Until I got home, I hadn't received a reply from Cedric. I directly video called him, and the next second it was declined by the other party. In other words, Cedric clearly saw my messages but deliberately ignored me. But I haven't provoked him lately. Let alone provoke him, it is hard for me to even meet him once. Thinking back and forth without a result, I video called Grace. After hearing my presentation, Grace directly concluded. "No need to think, that guy is definitely angry because you gave him the cold shoulder." I looked unconvinced. "How is that possible? Before, he avoided me like the plague." Grace put on a profound expression. "You are still too green. Although I don't know what you two have been through during this period, regarding men, you still have to listen to me. Believe it or not, it is up to you. Go coax him in a few days, I guarantee you will catch a big fish, he might even give you his life." Although I suspected Grace's internet literature style, I still decided to wait until the project ended and work was finished to go coax Cedric. Unexpectedly, before I could meet Cedric, I met Lucas first. That night, I worked the final overtime shift of the year, organizing all project tasks. Just stepping out of the company building, I saw Lucas and a girl arguing. Finally, the girl slapped Lucas and left in anger. I intended to pretend I didn't see and sneak away, but we still made awkward eye contact in that situation. In the restaurant, Lucas was holding a tissue and sobbing. "Tell me, I just overslept and made her wait at the cinema entrance for 4 hours. Was it necessary to be that angry?" I took a sip of my drink. "Indeed, there is no need to be angry. If it were me, I would have just given you 2 slaps and been done with it." Hearing this, Lucas choked and couldn't speak for a moment. "Then tell me, what should I do to get her to forgive me?" "Don't ask me, I am not getting involved in your business." Lucas started to play the rogue. "Tessa, help me please. I know you have the most devilish ideas. You helped me last time, you definitely have a way this time." "Last time I did it for myself, not for you." "Then just consider helping me one more time, okay, Aunt Tessa?" Lucas's form of address immediately hit my weak spot, making me secretly delighted. Finally, I softened at those words Aunt Tessa and decided to help him. After all, the happiness of the younger generation is something an elder like me hopes to see. I told Lucas, as long as no principled mistakes were made, a normal girlfriend wouldn't refuse a strong kissing attack from her boyfriend. No matter how angry she is, just grab her and kiss her repeatedly. Of course, ugly people shouldn't try this. Kiss strongly, kiss how? Seeing Lucas's stupid look, I had to grab his shoulders to demonstrate a bit. Just as I was gesturing, Cedric suddenly walked in from the door. Seeing the situation between the two of us, Cedric's face instantly turned cold, his hands clenched into fists, and he turned and left without looking back. I pushed Lucas away hard. "You have killed me." Immediately after, I chased in the direction Cedric left. Fortunately, although Cedric was angry, he didn't leave directly. He still left the car door open for me, waiting for me to get in before telling the driver to drive. Throughout the journey, the man looked out the window, not sparing me even a single glance. I wanted to hold his hand but was quickly brushed away by Cedric. I couldn't help but suspect even more whether Grace's words about Cedric being angry, because I gave him the cold shoulder, were true or false. Arriving at Cedric's house. Getting out of the car, I followed closely behind him, not daring to speak. The very next second the door closed, Cedric suddenly pinned me against the door, kissing me frantically. I also tried hard to respond to him. We kissed deeply, biting, breaths mingling. Perhaps feeling my response, Cedric's movements gradually became gentler, finally letting me go. Forehead resting against forehead. I touched his face, not angry anymore. Just now I was only teaching Lucas how to coax his girlfriend. We have nothing going on, I only like you. Cedric looked at me with red, rimmed eyes, pursing his lips slightly unnaturally, his rough fingertips gently rubbing my lips, wanting to kiss again, but I stopped him. Are you my boyfriend? If not, no more kissing. Hearing this, Cedric couldn't help laughing, nodding seriously, and placing my hand on his chest to feel his violent heartbeat, then kissing me again immediately. This time there was no reason for us to stop. And I truly felt that a pianist's hands could be so flexible. Apart from not being able to speak, Cedric's mouth was unexpectedly good in other places. Cedric and I were officially together. After getting together, I discovered this guy was extremely clingy. As long as he had time, he wanted to stick to me, occasionally wanting kisses and hugs. His beautiful excuse was my previous words: if you can't speak, use kisses to express love. Kissing countless times a day as if to make up for all the years of not kissing, making me regret ever saying such things. During Tet, I took Cedric home. Jiang initially kept a frowning, unpleasant face, but later, with the help of my mother and brother, and Cedric yielding a few moves during chess, in less than a day Mr. Jiang was extremely satisfied with this new son-in-law. He even instructed me at the dinner table to treat him well and not to bully him anymore. The speed at which he flipped his face made me speechless. The Xiao family also called us for a reunion dinner. But both Cedric and I thought there was no need to go over there anymore. Past hurts cannot be forgiven, so we choose to stay away. Everyone living their own lives well without interfering with each other is the best way. Not long after Tet, Cedric went abroad. There was still a lot of predetermined work overseas that he needed to go handle. Originally thinking I wouldn't be able to spend Valentine's Day with him this time, Grace dragged me to a party she organized in a private room at a club. They partied there, while I sat on the side drinking soft drinks, not even touching alcohol. Suddenly, Cedric sent a message telling me he had just got off the plane, deliberately coming back to celebrate Valentine's Day with me. I immediately sent him the address. Cedric arrived at the club entrance very quickly. The two of us were just preparing to leave when suddenly, we heard the fawning voice of a young man. Miss Zhang, what a coincidence. Are you here to have fun too? Who are you? I asked suspiciously. The man immediately explained. It is me. 2 years ago you asked us to take off all our shirts and film that video. I am one of those male models. A damn memory suddenly attacked me. I looked at Cedric's face, which was gradually turning gloomy, and I just wanted to leave as quickly as possible. The man continued speaking. I can't blame you, it has been over 2 years, you surely forgot me. I only remember it because I have never received such a simple job. I just wanted to tell you, if there is a job like that in the future, remember to call me. I have been hitting the gym for the past 2 years, my figure is much better than before. Or do you want to touch and see? Sensing Cedric's aura becoming colder and colder, I hurriedly interrupted. Alright, we will talk if there is a chance, we are leaving first. Saying that, I hurriedly dragged Cedric away. This guy, his possessiveness has been getting higher lately. We couldn't even bear to get to the bedroom. Cedric kissed me right in the living room. In my dazed state, I just secretly felt lucky that uncle and the maids had all gone back to their hometowns for Tet. When I woke up, I discovered a ring on my ring finger. It turned out that the reason Cedric went abroad during this period, apart from work, was to personally design and craft this ring. Proposing to me on Valentine's Day, Cedric signed seriously, his eyes looking at me, even carrying a look of ingratiation and pleading. Tessie, marry me, don't look for anyone else. Whatever you want to see, I can do it for you. I snuggled into the man's arms, nodding vigorously. Okay, I won't look for anyone else, I only need you. Before, now, and in the future, I only need you. True love transcends silence and insecurities, proving that the deepest connections are felt rather than spoken. By embracing imperfections and standing firm against judgment, we create our own happiness, reminding us that everyone deserves to be loved.